Hello and welcome to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Now, very major things happened this week. Very major things. The budget was read, and for the first time, serikali imeunga wananchi mkono. Bei ya unga nasikia inashuka. That's a major thing. The government approved direct flights from Mogadishu to Nairobi. Another major thing. Very major things happened. I got my hair done. Very major things. But Kenyans chose to focus on the minors. Governor Joho's D minors. Everyone has weighed in on the issue. Everyone has their own perspective of what's going on. Unfortunately, most of us and most of the comments have nothing to do with the original story. Listen to what Sonu chairman Babu Owino thinks.
Serikali waache kufocus kwa Joho. Serikali kuna wananchi wengi sana. Wananchi wako poor wanataka kazi. A normal Kenyan citizen is so poor that he or she may wish to die, but he does not have money to buy a rope to hang himself.
Tafakari ya Babu. So according to Babu, some people could be alive because they are broke. In simple terms, according to Babu Owino, serikali kinunulia watu kamba inaweza wasaidia sana. Does not even make sense. However, you can't rule that out. I've heard rumors that they have tried to buy the Kamba vote. Now, Governor Joho himself held a press conference to address these allegations that he had forged his high school certificate. So let's break this down for a minute.
I found this on some social media platform that asked so many questions. One, as to why governor may have registered in two institutions in the same year. Of course, I've got answers to that. Everything that is being asked here, I can assure you I have answers. Na nitawapatia hayo majawabu.
Very swift techniques used by the governor there. Unaulizwa swali, but you don't answer them there and then. You pledge the answers. Maybe that's how the D minors came about. History paper 2, question 001. Give 10 reasons why the Portuguese built Fort Jesus. Umeuliza maswali mengi sana. Lakini majibu niko nayo. I can assure you I have the answers. Lakini nitawapa baadaye. I'll give you the answers later. You have to give it to Governor Joho, though. He came out and defended He came out and defended his grade.
Mimi nikiwa mtoto wa shule ya primary, I supported my family kwenda kuuza vitumbua mtaani. Nilikuwa nikitoka shule naenda kutafuta kazi ya kufanya. Wengi ambao hawajui, mimi nimefanya kazi ya wahamali hapa Old Port. And I used to be paid 80 shillings after loading every truck from those jahazis that come from Somalia.
That's how hard Governor Joho worked for the D minors. Alafu usikie mtu akiita 1+1 homework. Kuna watu homework yao ilikuwa kubeba mafriji na magunia. Now in the press conference, Governor also claimed that there was something fishy about how the public learned about the details of the story.
Hii barua munaona ya Kenya National Examination Council. It is between Muhoro Ndegwa and the CEO of Kenya National Examination Council. How did it make its way to the public?
A document was traveling from the National Examination Council to the DCI boss, but it found its way to the public. What is it about the National Examination Council and leakage? I'll tell you my stand on this, by the way. I don't think Joho did it. I don't think Joho faked his certificate. Because if he did, he should actually use that in his campaigns. Wakenya wenzangu, mimi ni mwanasiasa, mimi si mwanasiasa wa kujitakia. I have given myself a C+. I had the chance to give myself an A. A plain. Nikaacha hiyo yote, nikajipatia C+. A nikawaachia nyinyi. Hiyo yamaanisha nini? Mimi si mbinafsi. Mimi ni kiongozi wa kujinyima. And this is another thing that caught my attention from the press conference.
The difference between me, for example, and President Uhuru Kenyatta is that when he went to school, probably when he went to kindergarten, his father may have had to issue one check that would have taken him to PhD if he wanted to. For some of us, it was different.
On this, I beg to respectfully disagree with the governor. There is no way the president's dad could have written one check to cover school fees, yet picha yake ndio iko kwa pesa. He could have just given the school the family album. And talking about money, President Uhuru's first job was a bank teller, by the way. Alikuwa anafanya kazi ya kuhesabu picha za baba yake. Now, Governor Joho is not the first Kenyan leader to have his academic credentials put to question. Kabete Member of Parliament Ferdinand Waitito has been accused of swimming to India for a degree because his passport was allegedly issued in 2001, yet he was in India for studies in the 80s. He produced a picture. Yes, he produced a picture to prove that, and people said that was his brother. We asked if it is true that Waitito is his brother, then all he could say was, bra, 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 staki kusikia. And by the way, we have rare footage of Honorable Waitito being taken to school. The police officer were going to teach him a lesson. Does that look like someone who would go to India for lessons voluntarily? Now, do you also remember this?
Did you actually go to university?
Yes, severally.
What was the name of your dissertation? Did you do a dissertation?
Yes, I did.
It was on what?
My friend, I've not
It
done
was
one.
on what?
I've
It was on what? Hold on. To school, folks.
The bishop was doing fine until this checked in. Now, this is that look that basically sold her out. Mimi nikafanya dissertation. Mimi. Now, we can go on and on naming leaders who have been accused of having fake academic credentials to qualify for the state standards to run for office, which begs the question, what is the relationship between good leadership and great papers? President Mugabe has a total of 18 degrees, 11 honorary and 7 academic degrees, while President Obama only has 2. Obama ni under 18. Now, but ask a random person who comes through as a better leader. Many will say it is Obama, but in terms of papers, Mugabe carries the day. And this is where papers mislead people. Ladies, simple question. Who is hotter between Obama and Mugabe? Who is hotter between Obama and Mugabe? Obama. No, wrong. It's Mugabe. He has 18 degrees. Now, very obvious. The point here is, sometimes the credentials one has does not necessarily define who you are. Look at this picture. If you do not know who these guys are, basing your answer on writings, guess who Joho is? Simple. Joho is the one labeled in a cap. The one speaking is his lawyer. There's a very big difference between leadership qualities and leadership qualifications. The Constitution has set standards of the minimum requirements to hold public offices. And what better way to give an impression of how Kenyan leaders are struggling to use education as a stepping stone to some positions of power than this clip. Even the wao wangu kamtiani. Now, we even have a case of a fake lawyer. The guy faked it so well that he even won court cases in court. How do you think that makes the lawyer who lost to him feel? Like unapoteza kesi na wewe ndio uko na degree ya ukweli. Serious. And the problem with faking anything, is that at some point you may fake it so much that you convince yourself that it is real. One perfect example is the case of the quack Dr. Meli.
Katika vilima maridadi vya Maraba kaunti ya Nandi, ipo hospitali ya Metetei ambayo imekuwa ikiongozwa na Superintendenti Ronald Meli aliyebainika kuwa bandia.
Alikuwa maisha ya watu hatari, kama alifanya kazi na kusomea. Maisha ya watu ilikuwa hatarini.
So basically, the fake doctor used to wake up every morning talking about naenda kazi. I'm going to quack. The guy conducted 8 successful surgeries and rose to the rank of medical superintendent, or as it later turned out to be, medical superintendent. Now, this has to be one of the major contributors to forgery.
The syndicate was unearthed after undercover detectives were sent disguised as clients and acquired a KCSE certificate at the cost of 20,000 Kenya shillings.
Like this one is a certificate of KCSE. B-. This is fake. It is not genuine.
With only 20,000 shillings, you get yourself a Form 4 certificate. You've saved yourself from years of morning preps, kukula githeri kila siku, and many other things, bullying. Many people would rather go to jail Juko wanakula marago peke yake. Bottom line is, it is important for leaders to have papers, but first thing, we need to define what the papers needed are. Because as it seems, the only papers most Kenyan leaders recognize are these. We take a short commercial break. We'll be right back with our guest, Boniface Mwangi, to help us break this down further. Now, welcome back to the Weekend Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. Our subject tonight, we are discussing the relationship between leadership and academic credentials. And our guest tonight is running for the Starehe Member of Parliament seat. And there's so much interesting things about him. I'll start with the social. First of all, on his Facebook, ile place ya kupoke, I'm not kidding you, iko na kanguruwe. What is, kuna rumors ati hajasoma, kuna watu wanasema hivyo, but ameandika kitabu. He'll tell us more about that. And mtu hajasoma zaandika kitabu.
Umeshika the wrong side.
Oh, haya sawa. Boniface Mwangi, ladies and gentlemen. Wapi makofi ya Boni?
Asante.
Poa sana. Welcome to the show.
Asante.
Welcome to the show. I think I'll get straight into it. Nickname yako ishashika?
Usinite jina.
Uko na moja peke yake?
Oh, ulikuwa na kunita gani?
Ni moja peke yake. First of all, promise. You're not walking out of the interview.
I promise that I'll not walk out. Lakini ukinita jina na hepa.
Wekelea mkono hapa.
Na hapa ya kwamba
I Boniface Mwangi. Boni Manguruwe. Sawa. So, Starehe. Your party symbol ni miwa.
Tunakulanga miwa sana. Miwa ni ukweli, utamu ni ukweli.
That's basically the point.
No. Actually, so on a serious note, the reason why we chose the sugarcane, it shows the fruit of our labor, the land that our forefathers fought for, and the sweetness of it, and that every single Kenyan should enjoy the fruits of their labor, which they don't.
Okay. Yeah. And first of all, I've learned something on the show. Vile tu tumeingia, miwa ni fruit. I did not know that. Picha zako zote. We looked you up. All your pictures ziko na ukibeba. Actually, this is you. Watu kubebaje wewe? This is basically your life.
That's all my life. I am a father. I'm married to a beautiful lady called Njeri. Okay. I have 3 beautiful kids. I'm a father and a patriot.
Another message to the haters. Hata Boni ni baba yao. So KCSE umefanya KCSE last year.
Last year.
Nilisikia rumors that issue a statement that marks zako hazisaidii mtu yote. Sikwambia watu marks ni kama technically could declare your wealth.
Not necessarily.
Declare your D-.
No, it's not actually very important. I don't think leadership is about what you get in school.
Okay.
That doesn't matter. Okay. It's about integrity. Wewe ni mwizi ama si mwizi. Wewe ni mlaguzi wa madawa si mlaguzi. Kwa sababu ukiangalia historia yetu kulikuwa na mababu zetu wa kusoma. Okay. Nyanyangu wa kusoma, lakini alipigania uhuru wa nchi hii. Ukiangalia Koitarel Arap Samoei, Wahinga wa Ihaki, ukiangalia Giriama Lady, aitwa Katilili wa Menza. Yes. Au kwa umesoma. On a very serious note, marks are not important.
Okay.
They're not important. They don't make or break a person. Si ukinokatia deo na wenga ni aje. Mimi nilipatanga ka Hata kupona jua marks.
Inaweza kuingizia mtu box wala.
Hakuna.
A student.
Madem mwenye mko hapa, ni angalia marks ama mnaangalia marks? Nikuuliza tuongee tu story. When your father met your mother or your mother met your father,
they were not there. Now. Point ukifanya research by the way, if you do your research, utapata hizo good grades. Madem wengi wao angalia future msave inakaa. Kama umesota wao angalia una news gani by the way. So trust me, inaweza.
Sasa nikuulize.
Lakini sasa unajua make it kabla.
No, sikudanganyi. Mimi nikatia sisemi mambo ya grades za maana kwa sababu the looting in this country has been done by Ivy League thieves. Watu wako na ma PhD, wako na masters, wako na degree, lakini ni wezi. Hata kama wakuiba walisoma. Someone has 3-4 PhDs, but he's a very horrible, bad leader. Nairobi looks like a slum, very big, dirty city. Inaongozwa na mtu amesoma.
Okay.
Angalia, sio uongo.
Sawa. Wewe, Joho ali come out. He's in the press conference. We played the video.
Yes.
He said that his excuse was, from my understanding, his excuse ya hiyo D- akidefend alisema ni kwa sababu alikuwa anabeba mafridge na magunia kwa port. Wewe excuse yako ya kutoenda shule back then ilikuwa gani?
So mimi nilikuwa approved school.
Okay.
From the age of 11 nilishikwa kwa barabara, nimetoka nyumbani nikashikwa nikafungwa jela miaka 7 years.
Jela, approved school.
Approved school, which is juvenile jail, which is like mini prison for young offenders or people who need protection and care. Nikaenda approved school at the age of 11. At the age of 14 nikafanya KCSE, KCPE. I was the top in my school.
Ulikuwa chopi wa approved school?
Yes, nilikuwa top in my school.
Approved school ni shule ya watu wako na tabia mbaya. Serious.
I was top. I was a top student. Nikaenda approved school kwa high school, ndio Kabete approved school. When I went to Kabete, I found many problems. Kulikuwa na kids molestation, people being overworked, very bad things were happening there. And then away from school, I went home and told my mother about it. My mother told me, what do you want to do? I went and saw the Minister of Home Affairs, Sharif Nasir, ambaye alituaga. Nikamweleza shida zote, akaniambia anataka evidence. Nikarudi kwa mama yangu ambaye anataka evidence.
Evidence ya wewe ni chopi wa makosa ama?
Hapana, kuna hizo vitu zote zinafanyika mbaya mbaya. So my mother bought me a camera. I went back to the school. Nikapiga picha. When I went back to the Minister of Home Affairs, you know what they did to me? They expelled me from approved school. Wakanifukuza. So
kupiga picha.
Kutoa hivyo evidence zile tumba zinafanyika. Kuna nyumbani mama yangu alikuwa hoka. Alikuwa hoka Nyamakima. Hakuwa na pesa ya kunipeleka wapi? Shule. So nikajoin mama yangu biashara fanya nini? Hawking. So from the age of 14 until when I was 20, I was hawking in the streets of Nairobi. Nimeuza vitabu, nimeuza kamisi, nimeuza maua, hizo zote.
Kuna TBT tuko nayo ukiwa approved school before you tell us about your school.
Yeah, that's me. Nilikuwa skao. Na sikuwa na doya uniform. So nikaomba uniform ya msee mwingine hapo nikipigwa nayo picha. Juu yangu ilikuwa tu nikashati kamezeeka. So
ilikuwa uniform ya nani? Sakaja. Si mtu omba karibu mwanzo.
Mwenye alikuwa na Boni kwanza ndo Jimmy. Siku hizi ni matri ni Deroma 3 za Rongai.
Okay. Boni,
sema ni aje?
Umeaccomplish vitu mob sana ukiwa activist.
Yeah.
John Kerry alikuja.
Yeah.
Wewe na Uhuru, the president, wewe alikama akakucheki by the way.
Na Uhuru akaniandikia barua last year.
Alikuandikia barua?
Uhuru, the president of the Republic of Kenya, wrote me a letter.
Tell us about the letter.
He told me that he needs my support in the fight against corruption. That's what he did.
Clarify that because umekuwa ukisema he's not fighting corruption.
And
so he wants your support in the fight against corruption.
He says that he's fighting cartels. Nikamwambia, by the way, he has the support of 44 million Kenyans. All he has to do is actually act. Unajua kuna kitu moja, sio shingino uoga sana. Oh, nitakufa. Kila mtu atakufa. Ukishafika tu place kila mtu atakufa now, you decide what am I going to do with my life? Am I going to be a coward, a passive bystander, or will you fight for a better country? Usao hivi, mtazeeka siku moja nyinyi wote. Kama juu hapa kuna wasoko hapa ni watoi, all of you. Ni watu wadogo, si watu wazee. Sisi tulikunywa maziwa ya Nyayo. Sasa
wacha niwarudishie hiyo. Do you realize hapa kuna wasee wengi sana walifanya KCSE before 2016? Just to make that clear. On videos of you confronting police officers, we've seen you talking about, actually one of the interviews will insist ile uniform Owino alikuwa amevaa, the police spokesman, ni do yako.
Si ndio?
Yeah. So ulikuwa unataka kuje uchi. I don't understand. Where do you get okay, najua team courage, but where do you get the courage to do all this? Nini ukuwa backup yako?
God. I think one of the reasons we live...
Easy lines are Jimmy Gate to watch. Let's
No, straight. I'm very straight, by the way. I think my courage and my protection comes from God.
At one point, everyone will die.
Yes.
But sasa wako, you are living differently. You're looking for death, technically.
No. Skiza.
Kill me if you can.
Do you know what? This is a big shame in this country. Very big shame, and shame on us. The guys who should die are the guys who are stealing, the people who are looting, the guy destroying this country. We can't all be afraid of a few thugs. Guess what? Nchi hii sisi kama wapiga kura tumepiga kura ujinga. Tumepigia kura kwa sababu ya kabila zetu na sijui na chama. Hapana pigia chama ama kabila kura. Ama mnapigia mtu mwembele kuhonga amepatia pesa. Hiyo ni kuuza kura yako. Usiuze maisha yako. Angalia mtu ambaye unapigia kura. Ako na sera gani? Na kama ulikuwa umempigia kura hapo mwanzoni, amefanya kazi gani? Kama amefanya kazi mzuri, mrudishe bunge ama pale ambapo alikuwa anafanya kazi. Kama hajafanya kazi mzuri, usimpatie second chance, mpige adabu ni kura. Tafadhalini tusikuwe wajinga kwa sababu hata kama Wakenya wote si wajinga, wale ambao wanapiga kura na wanapigia watu waizi, wanapigia wezi kura ni wajinga.
Haya, wajinga wenzangu, wapi makofi ya Now, that's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr.